It's Dave Johal once again for the Boxing Voice. Pleased to be joined once again by Joseph Parker. Joe, how are you?
I am very good. Training camp has gone well so far here in New Zealand, and we're out for about tomorrow. We're 5 weeks out from the fight, so it's still time to work hard and put in the work and sparring and running and all sorts. But as the time gets closer, I'll get more excited, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, it's billed as the biggest fight in New Zealand and Australian history. It was scheduled, I believe, for December the 11th. It's now December the 12th. Was there any reason why, first of all, it's been moved forward as opposed to the original date?
I guess with David, I think the dates he had was the 11th and the 12th.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it makes a lot more sense moving it to a Saturday where, there's no work, during the week, and people can just focus on the fight instead of sort of rushing home, and getting ready to go into the fight after a long day of work. And then also I think it's better for pay-per-view and viewership. So it just makes a lot more sense having it on a Saturday instead of a Friday.
Yeah, and it's going to be on the same day as Joshua Pulev as
I
well.
know.
Yeah, so we're going to watch this one in the morning and then watch that one at night as well.
And then watch down.
Yeah, so it's a whole day of like heavyweight boxing, which is going to be absolutely brilliant.
It'll be a busy day of boxing.
It is. One of the things I was going to ask you was when we originally spoke, I think it must have been like when lockdown first began, and the talk was that you were going to fight Lucas Brown in an Australian-New Zealand clash.
Yeah.
And that never happened. Is that why Junior's kind of taken the mantle, or how did this fight come about?
David was working behind the scenes on a lot of options, all the options that we can have, because of the lockdown. And I guess with Lucas Brown, it just didn't make sense. Yeah, and also the bubble closed. We couldn't have anyone traveling back and forth. So pretty much the only fight that made sense is the fight with Junior 5, because we live in the same place. And we both live in New Zealand. We live not far from each other, both ranked in the top 10 in the world. And it took a lot of time to make the fight happen. But once everyone agreed and that to, the conditions, then camp started. But I think, I think it was the only option for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting fight as well, because normally when you have two heavyweights, two middleweights, two boxers, there's sometimes bad blood to sell the fight. I mean, when I spoke to your trainer, Kevin, I kind of compared it to Dillian White and Joshua because you met at the amateurs and so on and so forth. But Kevin rightfully said, but this one is the same, but there's no bad blood. They're God-fearing men and they're gentlemen. And speaking to Junior Farr the other day, my colleague spoke to him and he was so complimentary of you. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you know each other outside and nothing but love, is there? Or
yeah, there's a lot of respect. We knew each other in the amateur days. We had 4 fights as amateurs, it's 2 all, and we knew each other's families. And for us, it's just business. Outside of the ring, we are very respectful, and we actually, I can't say we're friends because we don't hang out, but there's a lot of respect, and again, we know each other. But in the ring, I know that he's going to try and smash me, and I want to bash him, and it's all just taking care of business. But he is a very nice, respectful, humble guy, and he's got a very lovely family. But that's not going to stop me from doing what I want to do on December 12th.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those fights, isn't it, Joe, where the landscape of the WBO, well, just heavyweight boxing could be shaped in one night, in one fight, because he's ranked number 6, you're ranked number 3, Daniel Dubois ranked number 2, Joshua obviously number 1. So could this lead to a title shot with Joshua for the victor, or possibly with Daniel Dubois? I mean, it's all to play for, isn't it?
It's a big fight. It's a big fight in that sense, with the WBO rankings and getting closer to fighting for world title. I think whoever wins this fight is gonna, he's ranked number 6, I'm ranked number 3. But we will, hopefully this increases or helps with the rankings, because you never know. You might win this fight and you stay at the same place. I don't know how the ranking system works. But the goal is to improve and get ranked higher, and then ultimately fight for the world title.
Did you watch the Usyk and Chisora fight the other day?
Oh yeah. When you're a heavyweight fighter or any fighter, you're always interested in all the fights that happen.
Yeah, were you surprised at how he beat Chisora? Was it a foregone conclusion, because he could be another opponent for any of you guys down the line, right?
I think Chisora and Usyk could be an opponent for me down the line. Chisora did a great job in terms of chasing him down and throwing big bombs and actually upsetting the plan in the beginning. And then when Usyk sort of found his feet and his rhythm, he was able to box a lot better. But it wasn't a fight where, a lot of people thought it's either he's going to get knocked out, Usyk, or he's going to outbox and maybe even stop Chisora. But it was actually a very entertaining and close fight.
Yeah, it was the first few rounds were for Chisora. And another thing as well, with the fight coming so close now, one of the things that your trainer spoke to me about a few weeks ago was we're going to see a more explosive, dangerous Joseph Parker on December the 12th. I mean, when you knocked out Winters, for example, this is just me personally saying, there's a big difference from when you fought like Hughie Fury. Are you more determined now to be that explosive kind of guy and go out guns blazing, how you used to earlier on in your career?
Yeah, earlier on in my career, I was a lot more explosive and wasn't really defensive, and I used my offense as defense. Whereas, as time went by and I matured and got elbow surgery and got into bigger fights, it was a lot more defensive and sort of held back a bit. But for me, boxing is one of those sports where you have to be entertaining as well. As you have to, the goal is to win, but you have to be entertaining. You have to take care of business, and I feel like to be entertaining, or in my career, I want to take a lot more risks, which means I want to put on more pressure, throw more punches, and when you're throwing, you're winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that Junior said as well was, he said, look, we're training, like you've just said now, we're training to smash each other up. So everything's going to be left in the ring on December the 12th. And it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. What's it like over in New Zealand at the moment in terms of crowds and everything else? Because we in the UK, we've just gone into another national lockdown as of yesterday. Yeah. So wow. Literally, yeah, just the main shops are open, as in supermarkets and so on and so forth. Is it a different picture over there in New Zealand?
It's a different picture now. I guess we got on top of it the first time and the second time that it hit. And at the moment, we are allowed to have crowds. Like last week, we had a gathering, an event called Symphony, where we had about 6,000 or 7,000 people there, a music event, and everyone was having a good time. And I guess it's we're very fortunate and blessed that we're able to do that here in New Zealand. It will be terrible if it happens again, if it hits again, because we've got this fight lined up. But hoping and praying that we stay safe and that COVID-free.
Yeah, I mean, your lockdown videos were quite inspirational as well for a nation. Did you get any messages from Jacinda Ardern? Any shouts?
Nah, I got a message from the team saying, well done. But those videos were probably the best thing coming out of lockdown. I was able to have fun and do some videos with my family, and amongst that, I was still training, but it was just about inspiring and helping others through hard times. It was a very hard time for a lot of people to be staying at home and being stuck.
Yeah, I mean, this fight, not just world level, but for New Zealand, it's a massive deal. It's the equivalent of, in one could say, like a Joyce versus Dubois, two people that people know in the UK, or if Anthony Joshua fought Fury down the line in the UK, it's as big as that, isn't it, in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, this is a big fight in New Zealand. You're right in saying that. It's massive here. Just because we're both from here, we're both ranked in the top 10, live not far from each other, headlining this fight, on December the 12th. So it is a very big event here. Yeah,
good stuff. And you're going to be watching everything else that's happening in the other sort of fights that are coming up as well. Joyce and Dubois on the 28th. How do you see that one going down? Because both ranked in the WBO as well. And again, future opponents for either you or Junior.
Yeah, future opponents. I'm not sure how that fight will go. I guess we've seen Dubois, step up, and we've seen him, improve with each fight and being a lot more dominant. And then you see Joyce as well. He's got some great wins, and he's very, he's very powerful as well. So it's just a matter of who's going to execute their plan first, and who's going to land that punch first. Because they both can bang. Yeah,
they can. And all being well, David Higgins and yourself and Kevin Barry and Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, they've got a plan and do co-events. So could we see the rematch, the anticipated rematch between you and Joshua next year, do you think? Or is that somewhere down the line? I mean, when would you want that? Because it's a party that you could spoil for Fury and Joshua, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, you already know the goal is to be the champion of the world or unified champion. So whatever fastest route it takes me to get there, I'll take it in a heartbeat. So hopefully, get rid of Junior Fa and then fight. I'm not sure who's next, but anyone in the top 5. And then hopefully, 2 or 3 fights we can be fighting again. Or even Dillian White. I would love to rematch Dillian White.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, we've all seen the news the other day about Povetkin with the COVID test. So really unfortunate. He's looking for an opponent. That could have been you filling the shoes. This massive fight.
But I have a big fight here in New Zealand.
Yeah. What kind of problems do you think Junior Fa will pose? So far, he's got a history of knockouts under his belt, 19-0, Olympian as well. What kind of things are you working on? What kind of problems will he cause you, Joe?
Yeah, probably for me, seeing the way that he fights and seeing the footage I'm able to get my hands on, he boxes and he moves quite well for a big guy, and he uses his reach and his height quite well too. And I guess he's if it's not a fight in the inside in the war, he's going to be trying his best to box and move.
Good stuff. And just very finally, because I know we're pressed for time, just a message for the fans, Joe.
Message would be, firstly, everyone continue to keep safe, continue to help each other, encourage each other through these hard times, and let's stick together, as a team to fight this. And then, keep supporting the fights. The fights are nothing without the supporters. And for me, the fight that I'm involved in at the end of the year, it's going to be a bang. I'm looking forward to, I'm training hard. I'm looking forward to putting on a great show. And whatever the outcome may be, let it be. But full faith that I'm going to do the business.
Good stuff. Best of luck to you and Kevin and the whole team over there. And may the best man win on the night. And, God bless. It's going to be a good night on December the 12th. Cheers.
Thank you. God bless, brother.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.